Hi, I'm Score. I'm here with my co-host Jahanzab. You are listening to the third episode of Players versus Platinum, the podcast, where we discuss platinum-related topics and news, and we answer your questions. Jahanzab, what are we in for today?
Today, we're going to be discussing a very important subject and perhaps a little controversial one in the trophy hunting community, and that is
Oh,
completion percentage. Is it worth it? The first two episodes was pre-recorded, so from this episode onwards, we're going to start doing some more live gaming news about the latest big stories. I think recently we had a re-release of Days Gone, a game we have both platinumed. So
yes.
Days Gone PS5 remaster came out. I think it's selling for £45 in euros. And
Mhm.
if you own the disc or the digital edition, you can just upgrade for £10 or €10, $10. So what do you think, Score?
Um, I loved the game when I played it on PS4, and to be fair, I played the game when the after the final patch was released, so I didn't have any of the technical difficulties that were surrounding the game at launch.
Same.
Um, but to be honest about the remaster, I don't know if I personally need it. I looked at my trophy list and it said the trophies is at 70% completion, so there's plenty of DLC trophies. A couple of them, I think, are new game plus related. So I think I would prefer to work on that. But I don't know. How do you feel about Days Gone?
Um, I mean, I've played it a little bit recently just to look at it because I was like, does this need remastering? And
Hmm.
I think Days Gone falls into the same group as Last of Us 2 in terms of a
Hmm.
very well-made technical PS4 game that they've now remastered both. And I don't think it was needed.
Hmm.
I would have preferred Days Gone 2, but I am happy that it brings it back into the conversation because I think
Yeah.
it got a lot of negativity when it first
Hmm.
launched. I think because it was glitchy, it had technical issues, which can happen to a lot of games. I don't think it got the best reviews, but seemingly all the fans love it, and everyone on the internet's always hyping it up. Um, I'm gonna keep an eye on the remaster and probably get it in a sale because it gives me the chance to get the platinum again. And I have a big soft spot because Days Gone was my third platinum,
Hmm.
but it was the first game I went into to get the platinum, if that makes sense. My first two
Hmm.
games happened organically. So Days Gone was the first time I sat down. I was like, I'm going to try and get this platinum.
Ah. Yeah.
And it even has, if you remember, a trophies menu, which I love. It tracks all of
Yeah.
your
That's
trophies,
the
which
best thing
I
about it.
don't know
Yes.
why other games don't do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, not something I need to get right now. Hopefully, maybe this Christmas it comes on a good sale on the
Mhm.
PS Store, and then I'll pick it up then and play it. But I'm happy it's back in the news, and
Yeah.
who knows if the
I agree.
remaster sells well, maybe we get a two. I doubt it. I don't think they'll do a sequel, but let's see.
Hmm. All right.
And then what are we playing right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm over the moon right now. I'm so happy because this week I earned my Mortal Kombat X Platinum Trophy, a 4 out of 10 in difficulty, and it's part of my 1 to 10 out of 10 in difficulty challenge. And for me, it wasn't a 4 out of 10. It didn't take me
Yeah,
50
no
hours.
way.
The opposite was the case. It is a 6 or 7 out of 10 for me. Someone who has not have any experience with fighting games before that. I'm working on a video, so I won't talk about that much.
Yeah.
But
Does the does
it's
the guide does the guide not say 4 out of 10 for people who play fighting games, then something like 7 out of 10 for non-fighting game players? Does it say something like that?
uh, I don't think so. And objectively, the platinum isn't hard or difficult. It's just time consuming for the most part. But with someone who has not who has who lacked the skills of button pressing in a consecutive way or something to pull off combos and chain them, it was hard, man. And there are some tricky trophies in it. And yeah, I'm making a video covering all of that. And yeah, it's been a journey. My first ever fighting game platinum, so I'm super proud of it. It is an ultra rare platinum, which is also a plus. Yeah, so that is something I played recently, and then I played a lot of other small games in between, earning a trophy here and there. So to distract me from the pain and suffering I endured during Mortal Kombat X. Yeah. For example, I started earning some trophies in Red Dead Redemption, the first one, the PS3 version.
You're doing the PS3 version?
Yeah, sure. I did. I don't start the game on a PS4 if I have the PS3 version left. I did that twice or
Okay.
so, and no, I'm right now. I'm locked in to completing more games of my backlog or in my backlog, and we discussed this later in the podcast. So I won't talk about it
Okay.
now. But
Okay.
yeah, some trophies I earned in Power Wash Simulator, Red Dead Redemption, Sea of Thieves. I played for a couple of hours with people online. So yeah, lots of variety, and all games are from my backlog, and that pushes my completion rate to 64%. And yeah, that's good to see. I never had a completion rate above 66%. So when I reach that, it will be a new milestone in terms of completion rate. And yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of completion rate, but yeah. How about you? What have you been
Uh,
playing recently?
well, our answers are completely opposite because I finished two platinums recently that were like 60 to 70 hours, AC Shadows and Space Marines 2, and I'm in that in between area because I'm not anymore. For some reason now, I can't platinum a game and go straight to another game the next
Mhm.
day. I can't
Yeah.
do that. I used to be able to do that. I need a little break. And Doom: The Dark Ages comes out in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks, and I feel like that might be a day one game. So now I'm unsure about starting a new game. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. I've reinstalled Middle Earth: Shadow of War, and I'm thinking I might try and
Mhm.
do that before Doom. But yeah, it's open right now. It's open, so I'll have to see what my next platinum is.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, let's dive into the topic. What's your completion rate, and how do you feel about it?
My completion percentage is
Or percentage? Yeah.
currently 62.7%.
Hmm.
And for me, that's actually quite impressive because I I only use one account.
Hmm.
It's the same account I've had since like 2009 or 10 when I started PSN.
Hmm.
Um, there are games that I just tried 3 4 hours, I didn't like, popped two bronze trophies and gave up. My nephew, when he was younger, used to play games on my PlayStation, so he's popped some random trophies and random games that I will never play. So I'm kind of impressed by it, but I also have to say I don't care about completion percentage personally.
Hmm.
It's I've always found it interesting how obsessed people get about it. I don't worry about it too much.
Hmm.
Um, so for me, I don't associate 100%ing a game with platinum hunting. To me, they're two different things.
Oh, that's interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, they're two very different things to me. So there's people like me who just get the platinum in a game, and if you love it and you bought the DLC, you might 100% a game.
Hmm.
And then there are the people who must always have to get the 100% in a game. I think those two things are different. And I think
Hmm.
some people get confused about that because obviously, I do a lot of trophy list reviews on the channel, and we have loads of comments, and it's great. We have discussions, and I've had people say, "Oh, but whoever I reviewed," I've had people say, "Oh, but they weren't a completionist," and I was like, it doesn't say completionist review; it says trophy hunter review. So it's not
Mm.
a.
Hmm.
It's yeah. I think they're two very different things. I think they take different disciplines and dedication.
Hmm. Yeah, two different mindset almost. I would agree. Um, this is a very interesting topic to me because if you had asked me 2 years, 2 months ago, or maybe last year, I would have completely say different things to what I'm going to say in this episode. Because a couple of years ago, oh, let me say, I'm not a completionist. I'm a trophy hunter. I'm not competitive. Numbers don't mean anything to me usually. And so for the longest time, I ignored a completion percentage. That came to my attention when I started my PSN Profiles account. And to me, 60% or above is great. Actually, that is more of half of your games are completed. Before I started trophy hunting, I wouldn't even finish games for the most part, and now I have 60% of them completed. So yeah, and then with PSN profiles, completion percentage started to come to my attention, and I paid more attention to it, and I almost fell into a trap of chasing completion percentage. And in my first year of paying attention, my completion rate went up from 40 to 60%. That took 2 years, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I was super excited about it. And then it seemed to stop. The progress was not as significant anymore. And I looked into what it takes to get to 75, because in my mind, 75% is a super crazy goal to have. Um, and yeah, it got very unhealthy. And I made a video about it. I stopped paying attention to it. I had to separate myself from it because, yeah, as I said, it was unhealthy. And now I'm in a place where I start paying attention again in a healthy way, I'd say. Yeah. So my long-term goals is 75%. I'm at 64% at the moment. And yeah, you mentioned another question I mentioned. Are these high completion rate or sorry, are these profiles with high completion percentages, are they even real? Because I heard or hear a lot about people having two accounts. And in that regard, it doesn't feel very honest. And yeah, my question is that healthy, or is that an obsession? Is that an addiction almost? Because I hear so many people talk about this, and I recently talked to a completionist, and he told me very sad things, and I'm like, it is impressive to look at the profile and see all the high completion percentages, and but then again, they can't sleep, they think about it, they have to do DLC. And yeah, I'm please, viewers or listeners, let me know, is completion rate a healthy thing for you, or do you feel sometimes it is taking away from the positive aspect because you feel forced um, to play DLC? Um, yeah, so I or let me ask you a question. What do you think about free DLC versus paid DLC, Jahanzeb? Do you have an
Um,
opinion or
hey, I prefer free, but
okay?
I'm thinking of an example. I think
Hmm.
one of my, if not my favorite game, Resident Evil 4 gave us free DLC. They gave us Mercenaries mode, and it's actually quite good
Oh.
in the Resident Evil 4 remake. So they added that, and also by adding that, they made the platinum easier. Funny enough, because you can
Mm.
unlock a weapon using Mercenaries mode. Otherwise, it's you have to do it on the hardest difficulty. It's very tricky.
Mm.
Um, I'm up for paid DLC. Well, later on we'll go into which games I've actually done 100% in because
Hmm.
it's kind of
Hmm.
funny. There aren't many.
Yeah.
But if I like a game enough and the story and the DLC comes in with a fair time, like maybe 6 months, and it's an interesting thing, maybe they're exploring something they hinted at in the main story, so it feels connected. I'm open for it. I'm up for it. I do think I think some DLCs are a bit cheeky. I find it hilarious when a game developer launches a DLC and it's New Game Plus, and
Yeah.
I get this I get this for free with other games. I don't know why. I don't know why it's a big event
Hmm.
when a game releases and 4 months later, like I see on the news, they're like they're gonna do New Game Plus, and it's like, oh my god, wow! I'm like, this is such a standard thing. Like
Hmm.
a lot of games, you finish them and it says you can do New Game Plus there and then. It's not a complicated big selling point.
Hmm.
Um, One thing I'll say going back to early when you're talking about talking to completionists and stuff is to me, if you I hope I explain this properly, but to me, if you platinum a game, you've done the 100% in terms of the main game and the story.
Hmm.
You know, when a developer makes a trophy list, they sit down, they know their game, they know all the characters, all the side quests, all the world, all the collectibles, weapons, whatever. They pick I hope they pick a nice trophy list which then helps you to do everything in the game.
Hmm.
And I've been very lucky. Coincidentally, my last two platinums were trophy lists where they made you do everything in the game. You touched upon every aspect of the game, and it was nice. I finished those platinums. I was like, I've done everything this game can offer me.
Hmm.
Some things I liked, some things I didn't, but that's fine. So, yeah, I think the DLC is a financial commitment, it's a
Hmm.
time commitment, and also if you if a game launches DLC, if for example, let's say I'm a completionist,
Hmm.
Assassin's Creed Shadows right now is 100%. In the next 4 or 5 months, 6 months, they're releasing DLC. That's a fact.
Yeah.
So it now goes down to 80% or 70% or whatever. And there's a few DLC packs, and we both know, you especially, AC can have a lot of DLC.
Yeah.
Um, if in 6 months' time I'm deep into Cyberpunk or a massive, massive game, you know, and I've got my next two games lined up. Maybe it's, Cyberpunk, then I want Ghost of Yotei, and then I'm going to do Silent Hill, whatever. How do you fit that in? And what if you've kind of forgotten how to play? Like,
Yeah.
if you make me play, if I don't play Assassin's Creed Shadows for 6 months and you put me back in it, I will pick it up eventually. But at first, I'm going to be completely like, what's the dodge button? How do I parry? What weapon did I like? What weapon style did I use? So I don't know. I think you put a lot of pressure on yourselves for the
Yeah.
commitment to getting 100%.
Hmm.
And you mentioned the second account thing. So I didn't know having multiple accounts was a thing until I got into trophy hunting. And I started seeing people on forums saying, "Oh yeah, I'll try this game on my other account or my alternate account."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" Um, and then eventually I learned that okay, some people will start a game on their second account, the non-important one,
Hmm.
see if they like a game so they don't affect their completion percentage, which I don't know, it's a lot of work to
Yeah.
play a game. I know
Hmm.
it's okay, it doesn't sound like a lot, but logging in, second account, play the game there, see how you feel. If you like it, go back to your main account, start the game again. I
Yeah.
don't know. This is a bit alien to me, Score.
Yeah. I completely agree. And funny thing, you mentioned a Assassin's Creed. I looked at my Assassin's Creed Valhalla Platinum, and the game sits at 54% completion. And I have the platinum after 150 hours, I'd say. I'm
And
not
that's a
sure how.
huge platinum.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a
a huge. Yeah,
huge platinum.
yeah,
Minimum 120 hours.
yeah.
And it has how much DLC? I've got some examples because luckily I've got this research from a video I was meant to do ages ago, but I never done it. So I'm glad I can use this information. So I'm going to bring up a game you and me have both done, coincidentally.
Good.
We have platinumed Shadow of the Tomb Raider,
Yeah,
the third game of the recent trilogy, or I
yeah,
said recent, last 15 years. It's a really good game. That game had 63 trophies, which we both got.
yeah.
We have ended up with, I cannot believe this,
Yes,
47% completion
yes,
of the game.
yes.
If you go on my PSN profiles and you saw it and you didn't see the blue trophy logo,
Yeah,
you would just think, oh, he gave up on this game or he's going to finish it one day. No, I platinumed it. 30, 40, maybe 50 hours. I can't remember.
Mhm.
63 trophies. So for us to get 100% in this game, you need to purchase 7 different DLC packages.
Wow.
It's a total of 36 trophies.
Whew.
And as of a few months ago, it cost £28.
Okay. So a full
An-
game, basically.
Another example is Callisto Protocol, which I like a lot.
Hmm.
I platinumed it in December 2022, like a few days after it came out.
Mhm.
The DLC came out many months later. Like, I had deleted the game, completely forgotten it. I was onto different things, and I wasn't too interested in going back to it. But to get the 100% and to buy all the different DLC would have cost me £27.50
Hmm.
for a total of 19 trophies. So basically, approximately, both games, Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Callisto Protocol, the cost of trying to get 100% is £28,
Mhm.
which on a good month, if you go on the PS Store with £28, you could get yourself two great games
Mhm.
for that money.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's a time and money thing. Funny you bring up Shadow of the Tomb Raider because that is my least completed game where I have the platinum in. And I asked about free DLC versus paid DLC because I'm in the position, for example, Mortal Kombat X. I bought the Mortal Kombat XL edition, which is the full edition with the DLC characters and stuff. And I earned one DLC trophy because it came with it. But after the platinum, I lost every motivation to earn the DLC, even though I have it come with the game. And yeah, it's I can count on my hand how many games I've bought the DLC for. For example, Bloodborne is the first game I remember buying the DLC for. And that was so worth it. I got more of the world, more exploration, more weapons, and more bosses. Exactly what I wanted from the DLC. And yeah, that is a great DLC.
That's a highly regarded DLC.
Yeah,
Even I know I've not played the. Oh, I've played it for an hour, but I know that that's highly regarded
yeah.
Bloodborne
I
DLC.
would suggest you play the DLC because it feels part of the game almost. It extends it, and yeah, it's a great DLC. And I'm happy I paid. I don't know how much, but that's a DLC I loved. I also sometimes buy DLC to support developers. For example, The Long Dark is a
Yeah.
game that I support since 2013 when the Kickstarter launched. I have backed the game. I bought the game on multiple on Steam, on Xbox, on PlayStation, and they released a paid DLC extension, and they added so much content for $20, which is nothing for a game I love so much. $20 is a lot, but yeah, I'm happy to go back to the game because they added trophies to introduce the new features. They added and the new maps and stuff. So that is another DLC that is worth playing. Um, I don't know. Let me think of a game where I have the game with the DLC, but I didn't play the DLC because I'm not into DLC trophies. Usually, I'm burned out by the platinum, which sounds horrible, but I'm saturated. I have enough of the game when I earn the platinum because, like you said, 100% earning the platinum is seeing everything that the
Yes.
developer wants you to see,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, that's enough.
To
Um,
give almost, might sound like a weird example, but to me, like the main game and the platinum is the film you went to watch, and the DLC is like a spin-off TV show that they've made,
okay.
you know?
Hmm.
And like that example, you got to make it appealing for me to watch it or play it. Like you've got to
Hmm.
have some kind of good story angle or maybe a different mode.
Hmm.
Do you know how many of your games that you've done the 100% in that include obviously DLC?
That have DLC.
Yeah,
Not many because I went through my list and Bloodborne comes to mind, and that's basically it. I bought when I played a House Flipper. I enjoyed that game, and
yeah,
I bought the first DLC because I enjoyed it so much. But now the game has like 5 or 6 DLC. I don't know how many, and I didn't keep up with it because it was DLC after DLC after DLC, and I
yeah,
don't love the game that much, to be honest. Um, Goat Simulator, I have the platinum, but I didn't get any of the DLC, and there's plenty of DLC. No, I don't think I have many games 100% completed with the platinum and the DLC. So,
as preparation for this episode, I was really interested. I went onto my profile and I was like, this
mhm.
would be fascinating. How many games have I actually done 100% in that have DLC? In the end, it was two games.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure if you know me well, I'm pretty sure you can even guess which two games they are. They're both from the same franchise.
So games you have the platinum and 100% because of the
Yeah,
DLC. Uh, no. Well, maybe Resident Evil, but I'm
correct.
you sure?
So
Okay. Okay.
I've got the 100% in Resident Evil 4 remake and
Okay.
Resident Evil Village. That's it. That's the only two games. And with Village, the DLC pack, we'll talk about this later in terms of different DLC packs because Resident Evil do this very well.
Hmm.
But with Village, you get third person mode, which I think is an amazing DLC, and you have a extra story bit, which I didn't really enjoy, but I was halfway through and I was like, I might as well finish this and get my money's worth, so I got it.
Hmm.
Resident Evil 4 DLC is one of the best DLCs I've ever played. It's called
Hmm.
Separate Ways, and it's Ada's perspective of what happens that night,
Hmm.
and it's absolutely amazing because it completes the whole experience. So there'll be you're playing as Ada, she's on her mission. You're
Hmm.
going through similar locations, some new but some the same. And
Hmm.
now and again, she in cutscenes, you can see what Leon's doing, what you were doing in the main story, and how
Oh,
she
yeah.
secretly that gets involved and helps him in some ways and
Mm.
keeps an eye on him. That's one of the greatest DLCs I've ever played.
Nice.
So yeah, two out of my 116 platinums, 117 platinums, two games
Mhm.
I've 100%ed with DLC in, which says a lot.
Yeah, same for me. Um, what's a DLC? Do you have a DLC you want to go for eventually?
There is one game actually. So one of my all-time favorite games, my 50th platinum, was Arkham Knight,
Mm.
and Arkham Knight released loads of DLCs, but they were cool because there were different stories with different characters. So in one of them you play as Robin, one of them you play as Batgirl.
Hmm.
and they're set in different places and they're just little subplots. So I quite like those. There is one notorious DLC for Arkham Knight that has very hard combat trophies, like super hard. So that's a
Hmm.
big one in the community. If you 100% that game, people are like, oh my god, you did the challenge or whatever it is. So that's one I'd like to go back. Not 100% it, but I'd like to finish some of those stories. I've done
Hmm.
like three of them, but I think I've got a few more to do. Um, Another one I want to do, and this is a good example of 100%ing a game. The Last of Us Part 2 PS4 version, when you platinum the game, you get 98%, I think, and there are two trophies left: permadeath and grounded mode. I think this is good
Yeah.
because this is saying here's a different mode of the game and encouraging you to play it a different way because grounded is hard, especially if you don't cheat and do the settings things where you can make it easier if you just do the grounded that they've
Hmm.
made for you.
Yeah.
It's actually something that over the last few months, I've dipped into. I'm struggling, I'm not going to lie.
Hmm.
Um, but that is something I want to do. And that would be 100% that I'm very proud of. But I'm not doing it to get 100%. I'm doing it
Hmm.
because I think, well, The Last of Us 2 is one of my favorite games. And to do it on Grounded, I think is really fun.
Yeah.
Really fun. So I think that's a great example of a positive 100% you can do. And that came with the game. I don't
Hmm.
think it was an add-on DLC. I don't think.
I'm not sure. It was released relatively close to the release. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. So it was quite close to it. So
Hmm.
that's a good example of where 100% is fun. I think some DLC and 100% is so formulaic. The
Hmm.
game comes out and it's like, here's the new game plus trophy, silver trophy for doing the game again. It's like, okay, and then I don't know. I just think that's very bland
Hmm.
and not interesting. I think Grounded Trophy is really good. Like we both said, the Bloodborne RE4 DLC is really good because it added something.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I highly recommend the Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC. I really do. It's yeah, the best DLC I've ever played, easily.
That's cool. Yeah, I might have to go back. Um, Another game I would highly recommend, which don't have DLC, I think, but that makes fun of the whole DLC, extra content, sequel thing, is the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition, which is
Okay.
basically a re-release of the Stanley Parable, which adds a ton of content. But yeah, the game makes fun of it, and it's there is one, or maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but there's a distinct um, section of the game where you think, "Oh, they nailed it. They hit all the feelings a DLC hits for me when I think of DLC, and it's so funny." So this game is very meta. And without also with trophy hunting, collectibles, and everything. So I highly recommend that game. It has a very easy platinum for those who are interested in it. And there's one trophy: play don't play the game for 10 years, and I am going to do it legit. Because you can set your timer on the console, disconnect from the internet, and then get the trophy.
Yeah.
If you set, but I'm going to do it legit, and I'm in year 3, I think. So I have seven
Okay, so
years.
7 years from now. So on
Yeah.
episode 212, I'll bring this up and
I,
double
I,
check.
I will love it because
Don't
that's
worry,
a cool
viewers. We
story.
will hold score responsible for this.
Yeah, sure. There is a group on PSN Profile, a forum where the people who do it legit join, and it's a fun thing. We are growing.
That's
We are
cool.
growing.
That's cool.
Um, but it would also be um, completely fine if you do it the not legit way, because the game is so
Hey,
meta. It is the
yeah,
game almost forces you to set the timer. But yeah,
yeah. I wouldn't judge anyone. I think
no.
There are other trophies, famous trophies in games where you change the time on your PlayStation. So I wouldn't judge anyone, but I
Yeah.
think it's a very cool, quirky thing to do the 10-year
Hmm.
thing, and that little community on PSN profiles is that's fun.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah. Sure.
Talking about my beloved Resident Evil 4, this made me think of something. What do you think of DLC where it potentially makes the game or platinum easier? So DLC
Mm.
where weapons can be bought or upgrades.
Hmm.
What do you think of things like that?
Um. Of course, the good person within me thinks this is rubbish, but I'm all for it. Recently, we talked about Resident Evil 8 a little bit because that's a Resident Evil I don't have played yet, and I plan on doing around Halloween maybe.
Yeah,
And you mentioned this to me that the DLC makes the platinum a little bit easier. Uh,
in one very specific
yeah,
way. Yes.
yeah, and I put the DLC on my watch list, on my wish list,
Yeah.
and today actually I bought the DLC because it was 50% off.
Nice.
So um, yeah, I feel conflicted about it. On one hand, it is good, and on the other hand, it's bad, I guess. Um,
Well, with the village DLC, just to be clear, the main game, the main story that you'll play, it doesn't make that easier.
mhm.
It's the mercenaries mode. So
Okay.
when
Yeah.
you're going to spend 80%, no, 90% of your time for the platinum on the main game,
Hmm.
it doesn't affect that. It's just a thing in mercenaries mode. So when you play the main game and do everything else, you're going to do it the same way as everyone else.
Hmm.
But the village also does a great thing in the third person mode, which
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised by. I can't think of a game that offered that in a DLC, but it refreshed it for me because
Hmm.
I don't mind Resident Evil first person, but I don't love it. I prefer third person. And
Yeah.
so to play Village, which I really like as third person, was very fun and just made
Mm.
it feel slightly like a different game, a different experience. So it's almost like,
Um, and there is trophies for multiple playthroughs, right? Because I think I'm going to play the first game in first
the
person, like it is
yeah,
intended to,
yeah,
and
yeah. Everyone should
then
do that.
one of my other playthroughs I will do on third person because I prefer third person in games. But yeah, okay, I'm looking
The
forward to this.
Yeah, the game
Definitely.
is designed for first person. The cutscenes are
Mm.
still first person.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and yeah, there are multiple playthroughs. I mean, if I remember correctly, and if you're absolutely insane, I don't think it's humanly possible. You could do it all in one playthrough, but it would not be humanly possible. There's a speed run, knife only, hardest
Hmm.
difficulty, but yeah, I don't think that's possible. Um, yeah, I think with Resident Evil 4, they released the exclusive upgrade tickets,
Mm.
which I don't know if you remember that. That's
Mm.
so
I remember.
in basically in the game, if you upgrade your weapon as much as possible, you unlock the ability to pay to get the exclusive upgrade. Every gun has a unique upgrade. After the release, I don't know how long, 6, 7, 8 months later, they released a DLC where you can just buy the ticket by itself for like £1 or £2 or dollars,
Mm.
and you can get that upgrade immediately. I saw on Reddit so many people were getting annoyed about this. It was so funny, and they kept calling it pay to win. And I saw both sides of the argument, but
Hmm.
I saw on one thread, one guy responded and said, I'm a dad of two. I love this game. I
Yeah.
only get to play it every Saturday night. That's the only time I get to game. So I play this game for 4 hours every Saturday night. I'm trying to get the platinum. I bought the ticket, and it makes my life easier, and I'm for it. When I read that, I softened a bit. I was like, oh, okay. I was like,
Hmm.
there is a place for this, but people got really annoyed about it. It was really funny.
Yeah, and I would or I am one of the people. On the other hand, I try not to judge people, and it's a me thing because I definitely bought one of the tickets from one of my later playthroughs. I think I never made a video about this, but I played the game completely legit. But I paid for one of the tickets on my, what's the hardest difficulty? I think there's a,
Professional.
on professional difficulty, and I bought one ticket to upgrade my gun, my Magnum, or what,
Yeah, yeah, the
the
hand
strong
cannon.
handgun. And
Yeah.
I struggled with that because I wanted to do it legit, but the game was so difficult for me, and the fun faded slowly. And by that point, I was like, okay, do I do it legit without a ticket, or do I have invest and do I pay for it and have fun and end on a good note, on a high note maybe? And I decided to buy the ticket, upgrade my Magnum, and the playthrough wasn't as difficult as I thought. And so yeah, I mean, it's everyone has to make the decision for themselves, and I try to not be judgmental. I have judgmental thoughts about some stuff, but I the more the more I progress on my journey, the more I have to look at myself and let people just be people. And of course, if you do something legit that is super difficult, and then there is introduced a way that makes it more trivial. For example, my platinum in Sifu. I played Sifu before the easy difficulty was introduced, and I struggled so much. And yeah, I'm proud of that. But now I see the Sifu platinum, and I'm not sure if to value that person or judge the person. And it's this constant thing. I'm going back and forth, but in the end, yeah, it's a personal decision. Don't let anyone
But
tell you what is right, what is wrong, how to spend your money and stuff.
yeah, and if a game has become easy, if a platinum's become easier because of the developers' decisions, that's no one's fault.
Mhm.
If there's some like weird glitch that people know about and you're using that weird glitch to get the platinum, that's something that maybe can be debated. But if if the game developer said, "Oh, Sifu's a bit too hard. Here's a patch, and now it's easier," what can you do? And if you didn't play it on launch and you played it afterwards, you're going to play that version.
Mhm.
It's a tricky thing.
Yeah. Um, Let me see in the notes if there's anything else I want to discuss, because I think I skipped over something. Duh, duh,
I'm going to
duh.
blow my nose quickly while you do
Yeah. Okay.
that.
hmm Okay, I have another question for our listeners. What is your favorite DLC? Let us know, because I'm always
Yes.
interested about what people are interested. And are you a completionist? Because in my book, I want to talk to a completionist and get their perspective, because we both are not a completionist. And so I would love to talk to a completionist. So if you're interested in talking to us, to me, let us know in the comments. And yeah, I think the only DLC I'm looking forward to, or that I want to do at some point, is the Wolfenstein 2 DLC.
Oh
And
yeah.
there is three like short episodes, and every short episode has to be played on or completed on mein Leben difficulty. So that's a
Nice.
project I'm looking forward to. I'm not ready
Mini
yet.
mein Lebens.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would love to make a guide about these DLC mein Leben things. I think the community would would love that. But first, I have to play the game myself and then find the good strategies. So that's something in the future I want to tackle when it comes to DLC. And yeah, I think that's it for me. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you know, like I said, I'm not
No,
anti-completionist. I
no.
think, like I said clearly, I think platinum trophy hunting and completionist to me are two different things,
Yeah.
very different things, different disciplines, different dedications.
Mhm.
And I don't think you should judge someone if they don't 100% their platinums. There's valid reasons, as we brought up, why they don't. Money is one of them,
Mm,
time, etc. But at the same time, for all those people that do 100% their games, I admire it. I really do.
yeah.
I've done over 35 trophy list reviews, and I've had a few close to 100%, and I'm always impressed. I'm really like, wow, you're very dedicated, and it's impressive. So I think play the games the way you want to play it,
Mhm.
and you know the completion percentage on your account is it's not the most important thing. So don't be weighed down by it. Don't make it unhealthy is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I have another funny story to share with you. As I mentioned, I divorced my completion rate when I didn't make the progress I wanted, and it was unhealthy. And a couple of months ago, maybe a year ago or so, I had an active phase where I tried to lower my completion rate by playing lots of games and don't give a fuck about anything. And nothing changed. I'm still between 60 and 65%. Nothing changed really. Even though I played 3, 4, 5 games and earned only one trophy, and that made me realize, yeah,
Yeah, it
it
doesn't
is
go
what it
down by a
is.
lot. Like if you're worried and you have second accounts, it really doesn't go down by a lot. There are so many. Go look at my PSN profiles. There are so many games I've just started. I did 4%. I was like, this game sucks, or I don't like this game. I'm not playing it. And I always hang around the 61 to 63%.
Yeah.
I just never go down. And in fact, there's many games recently I started last year and
Mhm.
only this year that I gave up, and it hasn't gone down. So
Yeah.
yeah, don't worry about it too much. Don't
No.
let it get unhealthy. I think that's the key takeaway.
Yeah. Find healthy ways to tackle or approach this topic. And I completely respect completionists and what they do. I mean, yeah, as I said, I hear so many stories where they suffer because of that. And think about it: you completed a game, you earned all the DLC trophies. Don't play for a year, move on, and then the developer decides to release a DLC, and now the game doesn't sit at 100% anymore. That's stress to me, and I hope people find ways to, yeah, to be healthy about it. Um,
Absolutely.
so this is the first episode we recorded, or we yeah, and where do we go from here? What's the goal with that? So I think our goal is to earn one episode a month. Um, and the date isn't fixed, but it's we aim for the first Sunday of a month to release a new episode. So the next episode will be out. Let me check. What's the date? Yeah, on 8th of, oh no, on the 1st of June would be the next episode. Guys, if you have any questions for us to answer you, um, let's say you have a question regarding trophy lists or trophies or about anything, just leave them in the comments. We will answer them in the next episode. Also, if you, yeah, please answer the questions. We are very interested in hearing your opinions. Give us feedback. What's good, what's not good. We would love to hear about it. And yeah, is there anything else we should talk about before we wrap up this episode, Johansa?
No, I think that's everything. Let us know in the comments if you're more of a completionist or if you're just more of my style, which is just get the platinum and on to the next game. And Yeah, we really want to introduce a Q&A section at the end of these podcasts. So if you've got any questions for us about trophy hunting, gaming, even YouTube, we will answer those. So yeah, pop your questions in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like button, and episode 4 is out early June.
Yes. Don't forget to subscribe, please. We are a small channel. Help us grow.
Yeah, it really
Thank you.
supports us. So thanks a lot for watching or listening, and see you on the next one.
Yes.